the boss. Won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
The Name of the Rose.
Oh, baby. Oh, man, if you are in the mood for a 14th century monastic murder mystery, baby, we got the movie for you.
Oh, man. I was a little worried about this. I don't think I'd seen it since college. There were definitely parts of it I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, the sex scene, didn't remember any of that.
Well, maybe you saw the cut version.
I mean, that's possible, but I saw it in college. I went to a very experimental film college.
You never know. Maybe they didn't get the right thing.
That's possible. But I didn't remember at the end F. Murray Abraham getting impaled on those spikes or whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry.
For a 50-year-old movie. Ouch, that hurt.
Oh, man. But
this isn't very Catholic of you, God.
This is our next installment into our Classic Connery month.
Oh, yeah, which we probably should have called the Connery Crime Month.
I know. It's amazing to me that all four of these movies, I did not realize until we got deep into it, that they're all crime movies, number one, and they're all period pieces.
Yes.
Like, I love the fact that I love movies that take like genres in unexpected places. Like the fact that it's a monastic murder mystery.
Yeah.
It's just like, how many other movies can you say are that?
Exactly. And it's done in such a way that it's like, on paper, could it be any more off-putting? I mean, he's like all of the actors, it really looks like a Benedictine painting or something.
Yeah.
You know, with the way that the exaggerated looks of everyone and the color scheme. And
poor ugly men.
Yes, but it really captures the look of the evil Catholic Inquisition.
Yeah.
You know, the bishops with their weird
big weird red hats and looking like they had $1 billion.
Yes. We're not going to give up our money, idiots. But yeah, it's just such a... It just should not work. Again.
Agreed.
Like a lot of these movies this month.
Yeah, it just shouldn't work.
It shouldn't. I mean,
this one works so much better than it has any right to. I mean,
it does.
On paper, man, I would read and I was kind of dreading watching this because I was like, oh man, what if it's boring?
Yeah.
I don't really remember that much of it, you know, and it's 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's like,
with a bunch of old, weird-looking Italian dudes.
And a tiny little boy named Christian Slater.
Yeah. Hey, quit looking at me like that.
But it works. It just works so well. I mean, the director did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Like, almost every frame is a painting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a really gross painting.
Yes.
But definitely still a painting.
But that's how it was. I mean, if you look at some of the, like, frescoes and such, you know, it wasn't a bunch of really good-looking dudes. You know, you look at, like, the depictions of, you know, Adam and Eve and David and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, they were...
But, you know, you look at these pictures of the Inquisition, you look at these paintings of the Inquisition, and it really captures that kind of darkness and that sinister air of the uppers in the Catholic Church during this time, which was completely corrupt and completely evil.
Yeah, it was. And then they show that in this movie. I mean, the fact that the Franciscans, who are the most progressive religious sect ever, are like, hey, did Jesus own his clothes?
Well, we're not opposed to telling a joke. I love, too, in spoiler alert for a 90-year-old movie, that the entire mystery and murder and everything, all of this mishigas, all centers around the fact that this guy hates comedy.
Yeah.
He wants to destroy Aristotle's...
Yeah, his Poetics book 2.
Yes, which is comedy.
Which is all comedy, yeah.
Look at the... I got to tell you the reason, eh? So look, you started laughing at something, eh? Yeah, like a man on a banana peel. He fall, right? You laugh. Ha ha, he's a funny, eh?
Yeah.
But then you laugh and you laugh and you laugh at other thing, eh? And then finally, you're laughing at God. You're laughing at God in the church, eh? And that is a sin against God in the church.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. point.
Okay.
Look.
Apologize to all the medieval Italians out there.
All of my accents are equally offensive. So
that doesn't make it better.
I'm just saying. Nobody gets favors. Wait till you hear my French.
It's so true. So it is really funny though that it does come down to the fact that they just want more control. If you laughing is out of their control, and that's just it's like that's all the religion's about.
Well, I was thinking about this, and this was something that I didn't really think about while we were watching it. Imagine that library, man.
I know.
That library of some of the most precious texts and the only versions of that text.
Yeah.
And it burned down. I mean, think of all of the art.
I mean, that's what I identified so much with Sean Connery and that where he's like, I can't get all of them.
I can't save them all.
Like, there were hundreds of those books. And this was
Not to mention the scrolls.
And this was like 1,300.
Yeah.
Like, it's no wonder why we went into the Dark Ages, because they just kept burning down the libraries.
Oh, my God. Because it was anything that goes against the church. Not even goes against the church, but even, like, tangentially, maybe kind of.
Yeah, because there's nothing in poetics that goes against any church, considering it was written, like, 2,000 years before that.
Well, it also shows, too, that even back then, there was so much division within the church because of the different sects, whether it's the Franciscans or the bishops or the inquisitors or
Dominicans or I don't even remember what the main sect is now. Roman Catholicism.
Not only is it crazy how crazy things were back then.
Yeah.
You know, let me rephrase that. It's not just crazy how bizarre and just backwards things were back then.
Yeah.
But the worst part is, like, people are trying to bring that crap back now.
I know. I would never watch The Name of the Rose and go, hey, that's a good idea.
Oh, man, I wish we were back in the 1300s where women knew their places.
Really wish I had a giant barrel of pig's blood.
Oh, God. So gross.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the smell.
Well, look, it's not just the smell of the slaughterhouse. They didn't bathe.
Oh, no. Ever.
They're not wearing underwear.
No.
There's a lot of crotch rot going on.
Grooming they ever did was shaving their head. Oh. In the worst way possible.
Dry shaving.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
I'm going to lubricate it up with some pee.
You got to, God, suffer. Suffer for your suffer.
You got to suffer, yeah. The whole thing. It's funny whenever people talk about, like, time travel. I was like, do you really want to go back to any time before 1890?
I've often thought about this, and this isn't a joke. I swear to God, man, if you went back to, like, the 1300s, the 1400s, probably even, like, to the 1800s.
Yeah.
You would pass out from the smell.
Oh, immediately.
There's no way that you could take the stank.
Oh, no, immediately.
That is going on.
It would just be there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yes.
Just when you think you get used to it, there it is again.
Oh, you think the subway stinks like pee?
Oh, my God.
Oh, baby.
God.
That's
you know what, for me, worse than the subway stinking of pee is the BO. Just that like kind of clammy, hot, like, smell.
Yeah.
And that had to have been so prevalent.
Yeah.
In
well,
1300s.
BO and pee and poo,
Wearing those heavy robes, like, I can't even imagine how. Oh, God, anyway.
Also, those robes are made out of material that's made to cause discomfort.
Right.
You're never comfortable.
They're really scratchy and nasty.
The whole thing about being a monk is weird, man.
All in for what? So that perhaps possibly the guy older than you fondles you later? I mean, what?
Look at the boobies. Yeah, it's just like, man, the whole concept of this monastic order they're a bunch of sadists, man.
Yeah.
Or masochists, or both. I guess.
Both.
If you're a sadomasochistic freak job, the 14th century Catholic Church is your place, baby.
Go join the monastery.
Yes.
The only good thing that came from monks and abbeys and abbots and all this stuff is beer. That's it. Yeah.
And gunpowder.
Well, yes. Is that a good thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's get into it. Take yourself back to 1986.
Oh.
August 20th in Edmond, Oklahoma, United States Postal Service employee Patrick Sherrill guns down 14 of his coworkers before committing suicide.
He was like, "Quit calling me Cheryl. Quit calling me Cheryl, damn it, or I'll come back and I'll shoot all of you. Shut up, Cheryl. Nobody cares. Oh, I'm coming back. I tell you, I'm coming back. And that was the first.
I'm pretty sure it was the first. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was the first. And if it wasn't the first, it was definitely the
one. Yeah, it was. Well, it was the one that got us to coin the term going postal.
Yeah.
And there were definitely a lot after that, too.
A lot of copycats, people freaking out. And I don't know what was going on with the postal service in the 80s. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's a stressful job, but like that stressful?
Well, think about it, though. This was before, like, FedEx got big or UPS got big, and everything was sent through mail.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And but everybody complained about mail.
There was also, like, 100 million less people. I mean...
Sure, but we all, like, bitched about the mailman.
That's true. Yes.
You know? It was like the dentist. It's why the...
Just blame... Yeah.
Dentists killed themselves because we were mean to them, and post people killed others.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to be a suicidal saddie, be a dentist. If you want to be a homicidal saddie, be a postman in the 80s.
Being a postal worker is one of the most thankless jobs. And if anything goes wrong, it's your fault.
Yeah, but I would like to do that job, I think.
I mean, honestly, working at the post office, I think it'd be interesting.
I watch our post people, and... You know, they're just walking around, getting some exercise, they're doing their thing. People don't send that much stuff through mail anymore. So
and now everything is so categorized and like organized that it you know, the chances of something going somewhere it's not supposed to be is very slim.
It's fairly idiot-proof at these points.
Well, they must have the easiest job possible.
Yeah.
August 31st, the cargo ship Keon Sea departs from the docks of Philadelphia carrying 14,000 tons of toxic waste. It wanders the seas for the next 16 months trying to find a place to dump its cargo. The waste is later dumped in Haiti.
I'm sure that everybody that was a crew member on that ship, clean bill of health when they got back.
I'm sure.
No health problems.
Not at all.
None. Captain, you think it's a good idea to store the fruit next to the toxic waste? That'll be fine. Stop. Stop pitching. Oh, God, what is that? Did that come out of me?
Some of my skin just fell off. Is that normal?
Can we just dump this stuff in Haiti or something? But come on, let's go.
And poor Haiti. I mean, like, they have enough problems already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure this did not help any.
No. It's, yes.
Yeah. September 5th, Pan Am Flight 73 with 358 people on board is hijacked at Karachi International Airport by 4 Abu Nidal terrorists. 21 people on board end up dying.
Oh.
Yeah. It was they were good for a while, and then...
It was extremely condescending of me, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. It's the same thing same noise I would make at a puppy falling down.
Oh.
No, that's horrifying.
It was terrible. There was a lot of... the people that died were from like 16 different countries. Like
I heard they all died from food poisoning though, and it had nothing to do with the terrorists. There was some bad clams.
No, it had everything to do with the terrorists.
They served clams.
Yes, it was all their fault. Yeah,
that's horrifying.
They and in fact, I think of the 4 terrorists, I think only one survived, and I believe he's still in prison. In
that guy's name.
I think he actually got sent to America.
O.J. Simpson. Yeah. He just died.
Anyway, I went down a weird, long rabbit hole with this because I didn't really know anything about it. But it was a fascinating... it's a weird time for hijacking.
Hijacking was really prevalent back then. Well, not so much back then as it was in the 70s.
No, it was less so by this point, 86.
But it happened enough that people were like, okay. They were a little bit cavalier about it. Like, okay, because we're going to Cuba.
Yeah. Well, that's what most of the people that died in this is because the terrorists knew that the Pakistani like special forces was going to be storming the plane, and so they just started shooting people, and then the people opened up the doors and just start jumping out, and it was.
Karachi at the 80s didn't have the most stellar human rights.
No, it did not.
Record, and probably a dumb, place to go. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the thing is. In their defense, the people on board, it was just a fueling stop.
I'm not.
It was
blaming
they were flying from Bombay and stopped there, and then I don't remember where else they were going.
Well, no, I'm blaming the terrorists trying to go to. I'm not
You're blaming people for going to Karachi.
How dare you go visit your mother? You deserved it. You deserve everything you get from those terrorists, idiot.
September 19th, The Name of the Rose is released in theaters.
Yes.
So The Name of the Rose starts as a novel from Umberto Eco. He's a medievalist and a semiotician.
Eco.
Yeah, is that? Oh, yes, Echo. He's also a dolphin, apparently.
It is.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a game?
Echo the Dolphin. Yeah. Except I think it was 2 C's. A medievalist studies the Middle Ages, just in case you didn't know. And semiotics is the systematic study of sign processes and the communication of meaning.
All right.
In semiotics, a sign is defined as anything that communicates intentional and unintentional meaning or feelings to the sign's interpreter.
All right.
Yeah.
Are these like physical signs or?
No, it's like, I mean, yes, kind of, because it's how. It's almost like how when you quote unquote read people, like you can read what they're. That's semiotics.
Okay.
Like it's how you're saying it and the intention behind it, and sometimes the unintended intention, but
like your condescension.
Yes, all the time, all the time. I'm glad you're reading that. That means I'm doing semiotics very well.
Well, I'm doing semiotics very well because I'm interpreting your.
Yeah, that's true.
Signs.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just projecting. That's all. The Name of the Rose was Umberto Eco's first novel.
Nice.
He had actually, it was his first fictional novel. He had released a bunch of papers and stuff about semiotics.
Who cares about that?
Interesting stuff. William of Baskerville is a logical-minded Englishman who is a friar and a detective. His name evokes both William of Ockham of Occam's razor fame. And,
yeah.
I mean,
Occam's razor. Whatever the most obvious answer is usually the answer.
Yes.
Like if it all of a sudden stinks and you hear a noise coming from me, then you could be like, yeah, Occam's razor says you pooted.
Yeah. It's used a lot in murder cases.
Yes.
Because generally if there's a husband and wife and the wife dies, most likely it was the husband.
Sure.
Yeah.
Most murder mysteries do not use Occam's razor.
They do not.
Because that would be boring.
That would be very boring.
Looks exactly like this guy did it, and you know what? This guy did do it. Case closed, movie over, go home.
He's also, William of Baskerville is also part Sherlock Holmes by way of the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Okay.
Several passages actually describe him as they're strongly reminiscent of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's descriptions of Sherlock Holmes. I could totally see Sean Connery playing Sherlock Holmes.
Sure.
Especially back at this time. Like, it would have been...
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you've read Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
He's very angular and...
Yeah, I know, but I think that Connery could pull it off.
Connery could play anything.
That's true. He's
Look,
good.
If Robert Downey Jr. can play Sherlock Holmes, anybody can play Sherlock Holmes.
Wow. So he's won an Oscar, Jim.
It's a good thing you
if
can't
only
see.
the audience could see the death glare coming off of Jim's face. The underlying mystery of The Name of the Rose is borrowed from Arabian Nights. There's one of the stories is very similar.
One of the 1,001 tales.
Yeah.
Don't go to sleep yet. I got one more for you.
Director Jean-Jacques Annaud told Umberto Eco that he was convinced The Name of the Rose was written for only one person to direct, himself.
Oh, that would be me, eh? Oh, yeah. Way.
You literally did that yesterday, too. That's so funny.
Nobody said I was smart.
No, we didn't, Jim. Semiotics, thank you.
Semoronics.
Yeah. Annaud was intrigued by the project due to a lifelong fascination with medieval churches and a great familiarity with Latin and Greek.
Nerd.
This is a really hard word to say. Annaud's first feature film, Black and White and Color, in 1976, would win the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film.
All right, nice.
The film is set in the African theater of World War I during the French invasion of the German colony of Cameroon.
Okay.
His 1981 film Quest for Fire, starring Everett McGill, Ron Perlman, Namir El-Kadi, and Ray Don-Chong, would win the Academy Award and BAFTA Award for Best Makeup and the César Award for Best Film and Best Director.
Now, that's a really good movie. And Ron Perlman is excellent in it. And the guy that stars in it is excellent.
The Everett McGill?
Yeah. He's he's more of like the eye candy of the Neanderthal. But oh my God. And I love her. But Ray Don-Chong.
There's not any actual dialogue in the movie, right? Like, is it all...
No, it's her gibberish, basically,
okay.
and then making monkey noises.
I'm pretty sure I saw this, again, I'm sure I saw this in college. I can't wait to watch it again.
God, we have to watch it on mute.
For those who don't know, the César Awards are the French equivalent of the Academy Awards in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
They're very held in high regard if you win. Because you know how the French are.
Yes, you get a carton of cigarettes and a little bit of wine.
There you go. Annaud would go on to direct The Bear in 1988 with two bears as main characters, starring Bart the Bear and Yuka the Bear.
Great movie. I love it when the bears trip on mushrooms. But again, and I think this has something to do with him. Again, the baby bear. Whoever was making...
I don't remember that at all.
Watch that again.
I don't remember that at all.
And listen to the horrifying... Whoever did the voice for the bear, F you. Because it's just like... It sounds like a person going... okay.
I think it was just the bear. Okay.
Well, then I hate that bear.
I just love the fact of a movie starring with main characters as real bears. Like, this just fascinates me.
It's a great movie. I loved it. I just, again, partially on mute.
Annaud would also direct 7 Years in Tibet in 1997, starring Brad Pitt.
Tibet?
Yep, 7 Years in Tibet. Which would have been much more interesting if Brad Pitt talked that way in the movie.
That's such a boring movie. That was...
Yeah, I honestly don't think I've ever seen it. I think I saw the trailers for it, and I was like, just from the trailers, I was like, that looks interminable.
I don't maybe it was good. Honestly, I don't remember anything about it except like Brad Pitt and a child.
I remember the Chinese getting really upset that Brad Pitt was in that movie.
Well, they weren't the only ones.
Annaud also directed Enemy at the Gates in 2001, starring Jude Law and Joseph Fiennes.
That's a good one.
It's a great movie. That's
about the snipers,
Fiennes.
right?
Yeah. It's a great movie. Annaud spent 4 years preparing The Name of the Rose, traveling throughout the United States and Europe, searching for the perfect cast, focusing on a multi-ethnic cast and actors with interesting and distinctive faces.
Okay.
Annaud admitted to casting the ugliest actors he could get because he wanted the characters to appear, quote-unquote, real.
Ooh.
Based on the men in the village where he had lived.
Ooh.
Which is so mean. When he returned to his village, some of the men asked him if he really considered them to be as ugly as the actors, and he said,
yes. Way.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I'm positive also that some of those actors had to have had like fake noses and stuff.
Even me, Annaud?
Yeah.
Especially you. You ugly freak. Now all of you, get away, you'll make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job of making them look very ugly.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, there were a ton of prosthetics because most of these guys aren't that bad.
Aren't that ugly.
No. Although, Volker Preschfeldtau.
Whoa.
However you say his name. He's kind of weird looking. He played Malachi.
I mean, I think they were all kind of, because even Ron Perlman's kind of weird looking. Like it's just heightening or exaggerating those features.
Ron Perlman. First of all, I adore Ron Perlman.
He's a fantastic actor.
Every time, listen to our shows. We love him. Even bad movies are great because of Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
But Ron Perlman, man, when he first started out in, say, Ice Pirates,
yeah,
he was a pretty normal looking guy, pretty handsome guy in that movie. But then from like Quest for Fire up through this, like Beauty and the Beast, it's just, he was so weird looking.
Yeah.
And they accentuated his, because he's definitely got kind of a brow situation.
Oh, yeah.
In the sunken eyes.
He looks a little Cro-Magnon-y a little bit, yeah.
But now, in his 60s and 70s, super handsome guy.
Oh, my God, yes.
Distinguished and handsome.
Yeah, he grew into his ugliness.
He had an awkward 50 years. Now he's a handsome. Look, Ron Perlman is one of my absolute favorite actors of all time. I just think, especially now, he's doing such great work.
Oh, yeah. He's a fantastic actor.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's just great. Fun fact, though, this was the only movie that he's ever done where they didn't do any makeup on him.
Jesus. It's his real teeth. His real tooth.
God, he scared me. Like, I thought he did a great job, and I love what he did with the character. But, man, it was hard for me to look at him.
Well, he would also just like pop out, and
that's true.
Christian Slater's like, he's like,
what are you doing?
18 different languages.
Yeah. All right, so they cast Sean Connery as William of Baskerville.
Damn straight they did.
Sir Sean Connery lobbied heavily for the part of William of Baskerville, having his agent contact director Jean-Jacques Annaud every 2 months.
Have you contacted him this month? Yes, Sean. Every 2 months, like you said. Are you sure? I haven't heard anything from him. I need this part.
It took so long to get the movie going.
Just relax, Sean. We're going to put you in another Bond movie. I don't want... whatever.
Annaud resisted suggestions to cast Sean Connery for the part of William because he felt the character, who was already an amalgam of Sherlock Holmes and William of Ockham, would become too overwhelming with 007 attached.
Okay, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. It's a lot of baggage.
It's a nice way of saying, I don't know if people will see past the fact that you were Bond.
Yeah.
Numerous other actors were considered, including
Sir Michael Caine, Albert Finney, Richard Harris, Sir Ian McKellen, Roy Scheider, Jack Nicholson, Paul Newman, Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Donald Sutherland, Max von Sydow, Yves Montand, Vittorio Gassman, and Frederick Forrest. Oh my God! If they had Jack Nicholson on and Christian Slater, little Jack Nicholson, it would have just been like a...
Well, now, in his defense, he wasn't quite that yet.
He would have become him.
He would have become him much faster.
Yes. Wait a minute. You're what I've been waiting for. Why do you sound so much like me? I need...
Are you doing an imitation?
All those guys would have been
I mean, any of them would have been good. They all would have had their own little take on it, but I mean...
I would have loved... Marlon Brando would have been horrible, I think.
Well,
Because at this point in his career, Marlon Brando was not Marlon Brando.
Insufferable.
Yes. Paul Newman would have been super, super interesting. De Niro would have been good. Sutherland would have been great. Sydow would have been great. Yves Montand would have been great. Frederick Forrest would have been really interesting.
Roy Scheider would have been good. And Michael Caine. I mean, I would have gone. I mean, I'm glad that they ended up going with Connery, but
Finney and Harris too would have been good.
Yeah, it's a good list. Annaud actually passed on De Niro, who had a pretty good audition and was very close to getting the part because he wanted to have a sword duel between William and Bernardo Gui.
Gotta have a duel. What? Gotta have a duel.
What?
Gabba gabba goo? No. You gotta have a duel. A duel with swords. You gotta have a duel.
Oh, a duel.
You gotta have a duel.
I thought you said tool.
Gotta have a duel.
Oh, gotta have a duel.
Gotta have a duel.
Yeah, but it's not in the book.
We're going to pass on you. No duel.
No.
Big mistake.
Duel or no duel. Yeah.
He never got his duel.
No. Well, I thought there was a movie that he was... I feel like he was in one of the Musketeers movies or something. I'm thinking of somebody else.
Well, if he was probably like the Cardinal or something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have to research it because there's some image of De Niro with a sword in my mind.
God, you know what I think it is? I think it was Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh my God, I think you're right. Oh my God.
Moose and Squirrel!
I think you're right. Actually, I think you're right. Yeah. Later, after Annaud failed to find another actor he liked for the part, he was won over by Connery's reading. Annaud said,
what I was hearing was what I heard inside of me for almost 2 years. I stopped him on page 3.
Yeah, see, he fought him for so long, and then it turns out he's perfect for the part.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, you were. You wasted so much of my time. I'm so much closer to death.
Ouch. Umberto Eco was dismayed by the casting choice, and Columbia Pictures pulled out because Connery's career was then in a slump.
Yeah, well...
It's just weird. It's just weird to me to think of Connery having a quote-unquote slump.
Well, this was the time, man. I mean, everybody had a slump. Paul Newman, all of these great actors, nobody gave an F about movie stars for a while.
They were trying to... In the 80s, it got weird. I mean, because there were a bunch of new movie stars that came up. Yeah. And,
you got your Stallones and your Arnolds.
Yeah. And it was the guys that were really big in the 70s. It was hard for them to make it, yeah.
Well, they didn't know what to do with the old... It was always really weird going from old stars to new stars.
Right.
Because the old stars would just like show up on whatever sitcom was going on to get some... or Love Boat or something.
Love Boat, always Love Boat. Love Boat and Columbo.
Get a bunch of pity parts so they can keep their SAG insurance.
Probably. That's actually probably the most honest thing we've ever said on this show. In 1982, Connery was in Wrong is Right, a political satire with Connery playing a TV journalist covering 2 suitcase nukes being stolen. It was a box office bomb. No pun intended.
Oh, God. I want to know which critic said, wrong is right. Wrong is wrong.
It was probably Pauline Kael. I don't know.
Siskel.
Yeah, it was probably Siskel.
1.5 stars.
Yeah. In 1983, Connery was in Never Say Never Again, an unauthorized adaptation of the James Bond novels directed by Irvin Kershner.
Yes.
We've talked about this before because we've covered Connery a lot. I did not realize it was directed by Irvin Kershner.
It was.
He had such a good career.
Yeah, he did.
Like he's such a good director.
This wasn't one of the highlights, but it was.
But you know,
this was better than Octopussy. I mean, in terms of like quality, it was.
Yeah.
But it was still thin. It just didn't feel
right.
It just kind of felt like a. It's kind of like if you were watching the dollar store knockoff of 007. It just was a little bit.
Just a little too much. Yeah.
My hairpiece was ridiculous.
Connery played the role of Bond for the seventh and final time, marking his return to the character 12 years after Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Well, and then apparently they weren't because he had to go back to get more money.
The diamonds are for about 20 years.
Yeah. The film's title is a reference to Connery's reported declaration in 1971 that he would never again play that role. As Connery was 52 at the time of filming, the script makes frequent references to Bond as aging and past his prime.
Yes, I found that quite insulting.
Although, ironically, Connery was 3 years younger than his replacement, Roger Moore.
Ew. Well, Roger Moore he wasn't much of an action Bond.
No.
He was more of a, yes.
Yeah, he was very
He would do like a karate chop.
That's so 70s.
Yes, my dear.
Yeah, ka-chop, yeah. The movie was based on the novel Thunderball, which had already been adapted in 1965 with Connery playing Bond.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Again, weird. I don't really understand the point of that.
None of it made sense. The whole point of making this movie, there was this... The Broccolis, of course, have always had the rights.
Right.
And this was a challenge to it, and I think it was like a power play to try to get the rights back or the rights to something else, and it wasn't made for the right reasons, and... You know, it just kind of, it was more of a news story than a movie.
It was only the second Bond movie that the Broccolis did not work on, the first being
Casino Royale?
With David Niven, 1967, I think, or 61 or 63, I don't remember.
Woody Allen, yeah. It's Jimmy Bond.
Never Say Never Again would make over $160 million in the box office, but didn't make as much as Octopussy, the quote-unquote authorized Bond movie released earlier that year.
Gosh, they had a better title. Octopussy.
Yeah, I'm sure that actually drew a lot of people in.
It was salacious.
Octopussy? How does that work? In 1984...
Decapussy. Dude, that's the movie we're making.
Decapussy.
It's going to be wet.
Okay. In 1984, Connery made a cameo as the Green Knight in Sword of the Valiant, The Legend of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Okay.
The shortest title ever. The movie received some terrible reviews, with Time Out London calling it
underwhelming, with dreary jousting production values that make Monty Python and the Holy Grail look lavish, and an excruciating synthesizer score make this a real trial.
Yeah. Connery's co-stars had nothing but praise for Connery. Christian Slater described working with Connery was
like having a master class in acting, life, all sorts of things. He's an incredible professional, a real gentleman, a man's man.
He also said that Connery was extremely involved in every detail of filming and at one point scolded the on-set horse wrangler for mistreating the animals.
Stop! You're mistreating the animals. And you! Craft service is not a place for beans. We know that. We're all getting gassy. And you, over there, grip. Tape down that cord. I'm going to trip over it. And hey, seamstress, there's a little hole in the back of Christian Slater's robe. Get to it!
Wow, he's very involved in every detail.
Every detail.
Ron Perlman had similarly fond memories of Connery's mentoring skills and meticulous preparation, and added that Connery would
basically sit there for 8 hours between shots and download stories about Hitchcock and John Huston and all the people he worked with onto me and see the delight coming out of me.
Wow. I mean, how much fun would that be?
So much fun.
Perlman even came to the set on his days off just to see Connery work.
Yeah, 'cause that's why Perlman is such a pro and so good. Yes. And same with Christian Slater. I mean, you're really... you are getting a masterclass in acting.
Yeah.
You know? And you also have F. Murray Abraham, and you have William Hickey, and you have all these other great actors.
Michael Lonsdale.
Great
like it's yeah. I mean, it would be the ultimate school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else to do too, because you're just poor Christian Slater,
sitting
man,
around in a scratchy robe,
sitting in a scratchy robe,
middle of France somewhere.
Everybody's like 50 or older.
What do you talk about?
You guys want to go to town and maybe get a drink? My sciatica's acting up. Would you like some tea, maybe?
During the scene when the library is on fire and William is telling Adso to leave, Connery actually caught on fire for real and was only saved due to the quick thinking of director Jean-Jacques Annaud, who jumped on top of him and rolled him around on the ground.
What are you doing on me? This is crazy. Was I on fire?
Oh, wait.
F. Murray Abraham was cast as Bernardo Gooey.
Ooh, Gooey.
Gooey. Abraham was born Murray Abraham in Pittsburgh.
I'm Murray Abraham. I'm Murray Abraham from Pittsburgh. How you doing? Nice to meet you, Murray Abraham. I work in shingles. You can eat some shingles for your roof? I'm the guy, Murray Abraham.
He was raised in El Paso. He had 2 younger brothers who were both killed in separate car accidents.
Good Lord.
That's insane.
Strangely enough, both brakes were cut. And he had a penchant for pliers.
Okay. Wow. You're accusing F. Murray Abraham of killing his family.
There's a reason why his first initial is F.
Yeah. Well, it's because he added it to honor his father, Farid, a Syrian who immigrated to America with his family at the age of 5.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Abraham made his screen debut as an usher in the George C. Scott comedy They Might Be Giants in 1971.
I'm Murray Abraham, the usher. You need a seat?
I wonder if the rock group They Might Be Giants is named after that movie.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. He can be seen as one of the undercover police officers along with Al Pacino and Sidney Lumet's Serpico in 1973.
Murray Abraham, undercover cop. And yeah, I would think that it would be if They Might Be Giants isn't named after that movie, it's the most incredible coincidence.
Well, I think it might have been taken from like something earlier.
Yes.
Like I think it might have been a passage in something or
the Bible.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Things I should probably have looked up before we started.
There you go.
He also played a police officer in the Alan J. Pakula Watergate film All the President's Men in 1976.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Such a great movie. By the mid-1970s, he also had study employment doing commercials and voiceovers. Most notably, he played The Leaf, one of 4 costume characters in television and print commercials for Fruit of the Loom underwear.
Oh, my God. First of all, commercials were very important in the 70s and 80s. We all loved them.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Where's the beef?
We loved that one. And another one that we absolutely loved that went on forever was this Fruit of the Loom garbage where they would come to life from the label on the back.
Right.
And there's all the fruits sitting around. Oh, I get to be in the... I don't remember what they were jabbering about.
No, I don't know. About how great their underwear felt?
I don't know.
But
was he the grapes?
No, he was the Leaf.
Oh, the Leaf.
Yeah, I remember there was also somebody else that was like the Grapes.
The Grapes?
Not at the same time, I don't think.
Everybody loved the Grapes.
Yeah, I remember him in the Leaf
standout.
because I remember being like seeing, like much later, like seeing a commercial and being like, oh my God, that's F. Murray Abraham.
But what the Grapes ended up starring in later was the California Raisins.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's what they became.
Oh my God. In 1978,
Dad jokes.
He gave up the commercial work. He was frustrated with the lack of substantial roles, and he said,
No one was taking my acting seriously. I figured if I didn't do it then, I'd have no right to the dreams I've always had.
Wow, that's pretty hard on yourself.
Well, he seems like a real barrel of fun, too, that guy.
He does. His wife, Kate Hannon, went to work as an assistant, and Abraham became a house husband, as he described it.
I cooked and cleaned and took care of the kids. It was very rough on my macho idea of life, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Well, that's sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice is that he's like, look, I've given my dream a while. You go do yours, and I'll take care of the kids.
Well, I like that. I mean, I like the fact that he liked taking care of his kids. I mean, a decent guy.
I think once you get past the rough exterior, he's probably a good dude.
I don't know.
But
hey, look, he might be a good dude off of the set and with his family and stuff, but he also seems... Look, we know actors that are pretty decent human beings when they're not working.
Right.
But when they're working, you want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, that is actually very true. That is very true.
I'm looking at me.
Abraham gained greater prominence when he appeared as a drug dealer Omar Suarez in the gangster film Scarface in 1983.
Say hello to my little friend.
Directed by Brian De Palma.
Yes.
Who we'll be covering next week.
Nice.
Then in 1984, he played envious composer Antonio Salieri in the Academy Award for Best Picture winning Amadeus, directed by Milos Forman.
That's Tom Hulce.
Tom Hulce. The second you started doing it, that's Tom Hulce.
Yeah.
Abraham actually won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in Amadeus, an award for which his co-star in the film, Tom Hulce, playing Mozart, had also been nominated.
Ben on you, Tom. I won it.
That was his
his
acceptance speech.
Ben on you, Tom. I won it, loser.
It's very rare for one movie to get multiple nominations in the same category. Like, that's got to be hard.
It is. And I'm really curious to watch that movie again, because I haven't seen it
in a long time.
Whatever happened to Tom Hulce?
I don't know. That's a good question. I was going to try to make something up, but I really don't know.
I quoted him in the Great Train Robbery when we were talking about Donald Sutherland, and he was in Animal House, and he was the one that said,
"Right,
can I buy some pot from you?"
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to Tom Hulce.
Give us a call, Tom, if you're still alive.
According to director Jean-Jacques Annaud, F. Murray Abraham was extremely difficult to work with. The actor was apparently an egomaniac on the set, always keen to remark that he was an Academy Award winner while Sir Sean Connery was not.
So let's get in our places for blocking. Are you an Academy Award-winning actor, Sean? No. Well, then I think I should be the one telling you where to stand, because I'm an Academy Award-winning actor, Sean. Yes, you've said that several times over the weeks. I just don't want you to forget, Sean, that I am a Academy Award-winning actor. They call it the Oscar for those of us that have it. It's just what we call it. Maybe someday you'll get one of those little giveaway Oscars they give to guys that never earned them. What do they call that? The also ran award? I don't know. You want to see it? It's under my robe. God damn, you're an insufferable ass.
I paid a lot of money for that clip from the behind the scenes.
It was, the BTS.
The BTS, yeah. The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure that was probably how it was. Ironically, Connery would win the Academy Award the following year for his performance in The Untouchables.
Nice.
Which we are covering next week. Despite being
Take that, you asshole!
Despite being the second billed star, F. Murray Abraham's first appearance is 81 minutes and 20 seconds into the film.
Yeah, I remember watching that for the first time and thinking, is F. Murray Abraham in this? And is he one of the weird-looking dudes?
I mean, the first hour, I forgot he was in it.
Oh, man, and they make him look weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I also love the fact that he didn't bother with any accent at all.
No, I just talk like this.
It was a little jarring, I will say.
I won an Academy Award. I can do it any way I want.
Abraham's relatively low-profile film career subsequent to his Academy Award win has been considered an example of the quote-unquote Oscar jinx.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. According to film critic Leonard Maltin, professional failure following an early success is referred to in Hollywood circles as the F. Murray Abraham syndrome.
That is so mean, but so funny. I wonder if he has a sense of humor about it. And, we talked about this. It's a lot of most times people make their choices of what their next projects are going to be way in advance, and so
movies take a while to make.
Yeah, and so the Academy, and also and there's stuff in the can that's about to come out, and you don't know you're going to win an Academy Award when you sign on to be in like My Best Friend's a Monkey, and it's like
a great award-winning movie.
Like, oh my God, his follow-up to Schindler's List is My Best Friend's a Monkey. He's like, well, I made it before Schindler's List. They just relayed it afterwards.
And there's a lot of CG that needed to be done.
Yes.
It was, Abraham rejected this notion and told Maltin,
the Oscar is the single most important event of my career. I have dined with kings, shared equal billing with my idols, lectured at Harvard and Columbia. If this is a jinx, I'll take 2.
Yeah, funny, because he never got another Oscar.
Well, I did speak at Harvard, and I did dine with...
He sounds like Christy Nome. I dine with many different world leaders.
I dine with kings. In the same interview, Abraham said,
even though I won the Oscar, I can still take the subway in New York and nobody recognizes me. Some actors might find that disconcerting, but I find it refreshing.
If he really believed that, then he wouldn't have been rubbing it in Sean Connery's face that he won an Oscar.
Well, I think what he's saying is the Oscar's super important to him, but fame isn't.
Yeah, well, okay. The Oscar's a joke. Whatever.
Look, we all know my feelings on the Oscars. The bougie little
bull donkey.
It's gross.
He's had a very long career. He's continued to appear on TV and in movies, as well as acting on stage. He's actually gone into a lot of comedy. Like, he really wanted to do comedy. Abraham can most recently be seen in 2 episodes of White House Plumbers. That show keeps popping up, and I still haven't watched it yet.
It started. I forgot about it. I enjoyed what I saw. I love Woody Harrelson, and Justin Theroux is always
I love Justin Theroux.
And,
Yeah. And then that was it.
That was it. And I love the Watergate stuff. I think, like, all the President's Men. Yeah. But you know what I think it is, too? It used to be so much more fascinating.
Yeah.
But now Watergate just seems quaint.
Yeah, actually.
It just seems like, really?
It's like,
look how much they got upset over this tiny thing.
Oh, look, they went in and stole a file.
And look how the government actually reacted in a good way.
Yeah.
And got rid of the criminals and stuff.
No. Christian Slater was cast as Adso of Milk.
That's me.
Milk?
Milk is, M-E-L-K, is the substance you get from a bull instead of a cow. You have to milk the milk.
Nope.
You don't get as much. Maybe you do. I don't know. I've never milked some milk.
Doesn't taste quite as good.
Well, salty.
Slater had his first acting role at the age of 8 in the soap opera One Life to Live. Slater then turned to Broadway, first appearing in The Music Man with Dick Van Dyke, and then making appearances in
Copperfield, Merlin, Macbeth, Sideman, and The Glass Menagerie. Oh my God, working with Dick Van Dyke.
That would be amazing.
As a young man, he got to work with Dick Van Dyke. His first movie, or big movie, was with Sean Connery.
Yeah, the dude had an incredible early career.
And he seemed like the type of actor that would absorb as much as he could from these guys. Like, he wasn't a young punk. Like a lot of these kids today.
I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing. Yeah.
Hey, old man, don't you tell me how to act. I know what I'm doing, old man.
In addition, he has performed in London's West End in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Swimming with Sharks.
I wonder if he played the Jack Nicholson part. I'm just going to watch the movie, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I bet you he played Billy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was still pretty young.
I'm sure he played Billy.
Yeah.
Which would have been great. I mean, I think he would have been great.
He's a good actor. I mean, I would have loved to have seen him on stage. Slater made his big screen debut in 1985's The Legend of Billie Jean, playing Billie Jean's brother Binks.
Yeah, Binks. That movie was so sweaty. That was such a sweaty, blonde movie. That's all I remember. It was very blonde.
Yeah.
Both of them were very blonde.
Helen Slater, she was so blonde.
And sweaty.
Yeah.
And there was... It just seemed a little teeny bit incesty with them. It was very uncomfortable.
I mean... Yeah, it was weird. It was one of those movies because it didn't do well in the box office.
Yeah,
it was on TV all the time.
Oh yeah, constantly.
And I think it's part of the reason why it has quote unquote gained a cult following, because I think people just saw it 100 times.
Yeah, and they were like real life brother and sister, Christian Slater and Ellen Slater. And people
are they actually related?
I don't think so.
I don't think they are either.
No, these people are idiots. Is what I was trying to point out.
Yes, well, those people are idiots. Yeah. Anyway, I remember really liking this movie, but also it was that, like, I saw it at just the right time, at that right age where it was like, you're fighting the power.
Yeah, you're all rebellious.
Yeah.
And seeing them be all rebels.
Yeah.
And kind of...
And she cut her hair.
A little too into each other for brother and sister.
I don't remember any of that.
Leitmotif of incest.
Okay, all right. Hundreds of teenage boys were scouted before the production settled on Christian Slater.
That is a really gross sentence, by the way.
That is a really gross sentence. It actually is true, because that's what happened. His mother was a casting director and consulted on the film. So, surprise, surprise, Christian Slater got nominated.
Okay, listen, guys.
He got the part.
Listen, guys. I have this new actor. He is amazing. I mean, we're going to get him before anybody else gets him. He's only been in one movie, and he is great. And I'm telling you, everybody wants him, and I think we can get him.
Who is it?
Well, it's Christian. He's very, very good.
Wait, your son?
Yeah, my son Christian Slater. But anyway, look, I saw 100,000 other boys. A lot of boys.
You're scouting a lot of boys.
I was scouting for weeks. No boy is better than my boy.
Shocker of all shocks. Somehow he got the part. It is the epitome of Hollywood. And not saying that Christian Slater was not good in this.
No.
Because he was phenomenal.
Look.
But you got to have that leg up.
Nepotism is what this business is built on. 100%. And saying that you're a Nepo baby or that you got it through nepotism, don't feel bad about it.
No.
You got your leg up. You're getting somebody nobody else gets. Look, just because you got the door open for you all the time.
Right.
Once you do, when you're in there, look, there's a lot of Nepos that got in there and their careers fizzled because they weren't good.
Yeah.
But once you get in there, what you do, and Christian Slater is a really good actor. He had a unfortunate period where he was just the young Jack. The worst thing that he could have done for his career was Heathers, even though I love Heathers and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But that little Jack Nicholson followed him around for Pump Up the Volume and every other movie.
Gleaming the Cube. Such a weird movie.
Yeah. Your brother must have hated that movie.
Oh, he hated it so much.
All real skaters are like, that movie's bullshit.
Yeah, it was really. Although Tony Hawk was in the movie.
Oh yeah, Tony Hawk is not happy about that. I saw him talking to somebody about that movie. Yeah. And like Skate USA.
The whole time he was in that movie, and I'm sure we'll cover Gleaming the Cube at some point when we have to get down to the dredges of our barrel.
We run out of everything.
But he was very much like, would tell them like, skaters don't do that. Skaters don't do that. And then the directors and the producers did not care.
Hey, dum-dum, we didn't hire you for your... We're calling it Gleaming the Cube, moron. We know it has nothing to do with skating.
Have you ever skated a cube before?
Have you ever gleamed it?
Nope.
Did you gleam the cube?
Nope.
Anywho.
Despite it's still a huge guilty pleasure for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, you like gleaming it.
Jean-Jacques Annaud said that after 17-year-old Christian Slater was cast as Adso of Milk, he was asked to read with 3 actresses auditioning for the role of the girl. He read with Valentina Vargas first and was scheduled to read with the other 2 actresses the next day. That evening, Slater sent his mother, casting agent Mary Jo Slater, to tell Annaud that he was so smitten with 22-year-old Vargas that he didn't want the other 2 women to be considered.
Hey, Ma, I think I might have a chance with this one. You gotta cast her, because I'm 17 and I need it.
Okay.
Whatever you want, baby.
For many years, it was rumored that the sex scene between Valentina Vargas and Christian Slater was real. This is an urban legend, as actors who simulate sex scenes in film usually wear a modesty patch that prevents direct genital contact while they perform.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies with this urban legend. Yeah. There's that, I think it's called Don't Look Back, the Donald Sutherland.
Oh, yeah.
And Julie Christie, where they said and then there's the... Wild Orchid, I think it was called, with Mickey Rourke. And his girlfriend at the time, and they said they actually had sex.
Yeah.
But who knows? Anyway, if you're actually having sex, it's not acting.
In the middle of the sex scene, Vargas can actually be seen adjusting the patch.
I saw that because I read the script before we watched the movie.
I totally forgot about it because I was so enthralled by the sex scene.
But it's it's once you know it's coming, it's really obvious. She's just like, Sleech.
Slater later debunked the myth in an interview with Cosmopolitan, saying that during the scene, he thought that
they were waiting for me to get an erection. They wanted to see the consummation, but there was no way. I couldn't perform while the camera was rolling.
Yeah, they weren't waiting for him to get an erection. He was 17. He probably had an erection. Yeah. Underneath his patch.
And if they were waiting for him to get an erection, they're all a bunch of pervs.
Okay, they weren't. I didn't include this, but the way that Annaud directed the scene is that he didn't tell Christian Slater anything, and he told Valentina Vargas to just take the lead. Nice. And then let her kind of choreograph the whole thing.
But that makes sense, because he's a stupid monk boy. He wouldn't know how to do anything.
It was perfect. It was done really well, and his reaction was priceless when she pulls her boob out, and he's just like, oh.
I'm questioning everything.
Slater actually has the most screen time in The Name of the Rose. He would shoot to stardom at the age of 18, playing J.D. in Heathers, released in 1988.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. Gleaming the Cube might have been 87. It might have been 87.
I think it was, because
Woo.
I think Pump Up the Volume was 88, was after. Was his
89. I think you're right. Slater has appeared in dozens of movies and TV shows over his career. He most recently can be seen in The Spiderwick Chronicles, airing on Showtime. He'll also be seen in the upcoming films Unfrosted, directed by and starring Jerry Seinfeld, which was released recently on Netflix.
I watched it.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's for the boomers. But Christian Slater was great, playing a milkman.
Nice.
Playing a milkman. Here's your milk.
His milk.
Here's your milk.
Your milk. I'm a man made of milk.
I got it from a bull.
Okay, all right.
Drink up, Seinfeld.
He was also going to be in Blink Twice, the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz, being released in August of 2024.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's still working.
I really like him.
To me, in the 90s, he kind of fell off a bit, but it was when he got into doing TV stuff, like Mr. Robot, because I was shocked that I was like, oh my God, like, he's a movie star.
Well, I think his turnaround, his kind of getting away from the Jack Nicholson BS was Murder in the First.
Yeah.
Where he played the guard against
it was like
Kevin Bacon.
Mid-90s, yeah.
Which
I don't remember that movie at all.
It is, oh my God, Kevin Bacon should have got an Oscar for that.
Really?
I mean, it's not a great, again, poor Kevin Bacon, always doing great work in
mediocre movies. Yeah.
It's better than mediocre, but it's not as good as great.
Right. Michael Lonsdale was cast as the Abbot.
Yes.
Lonsdale was born in Paris, the natural son of British Army officer Edward Lonsdale Crouch and Simone Calderon. He was brought up initially on the island of Jersey, then in London from 1935, and later during the Second World War in Casablanca, Morocco.
Hey, hello, Jersey. What you gonna do, eh?
Yes, that's exactly how they sound.
That's where it comes
from.
from.
The island of Jersey.
Yeah, that's where the accent comes
in
from.
the UK. Yeah. He returned to Paris to study painting in 1947, but was drawn into the world of acting instead, first appearing on stage at the age of 24.
You know what makes me so jealous about these artists from, the 40s, the 50s, or the 60s, is that they all seem so well-rounded in terms of acting or painting or writing or poetry. They all were just enveloped in the arts, and there was just kind of this appreciation of the arts that we don't really have today.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's like it's all commerce now, and you don't really have the freedom to explore like you used to.
No, it's sad.
It is. Yeah. There you go. Everybody cheer up.
Great. Yay! Lonsdale was bilingual and appeared in both English language and French language productions.
Oh.
He appeared as the villain in the 1979 James Bond film Moonraker with Roger Moore.
You're on the moon, Mr. Bond.
Would you please hand me that rake?
Now start raking.
He would later appear in Munich, a film that also starred another Bond, Daniel Craig.
Great movie.
Meaning he appeared with 3 different Bonds over his long career.
Yes.
He's
Mr. Bonds.
Circling around those Bonds.
Mr. Bonds.
Monsieur's Bonds. Lonsdale appeared in over 180 movies and television shows over that very long career. He also found time to write 10 books.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what he does.
Well, there's a lot of downtime during movies.
That's true. Lonsdale fell in love with a woman in 1947 whom he couldn't have, so he never got married.
That seems a little lazy.
Well, but I think he was comparing everybody to this woman that...
Well, then you need to go to a therapist, pal, because you're using that as an excuse not to get close to people. He has intimacy issues.
Yes, probably.
Let's take the time to break him down.
He passed away September 21st, 2020, at the age of 89.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he lived for quite a while.
Long time to not have no ladies.
Fyodor Chaliapin Jr. was cast as Jorge de Burgos. He was the blind... he wasn't the head monk, but I mean, he was...
I hate the comedy, eh?
Yeah, he was...
Do not laugh. You laugh and I push you in the face.
Essentially the bad guy. Again, spoilers, but yeah.
I kind of see you. Come here so I can punch you in the face.
John Huston was originally cast as Jorge de Burgos, but he had to decline due to bad health.
Yes, I had to... Just remember him, Mr. Gitch, from Chinatown.
Chinatown, yeah.
Come in here, Mr. Gitch. I have some fish. That was such a good movie. He was so good in that, too.
Great movie. Fyodor Chaliapin Jr. was the son of Russian opera legend Fyodor Chaliapin, born in 1905.
Naturally. Everybody knows that, Adam.
That he was born in 1905?
No, that is...
Oh, that he was the son of Russian opera legend?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was a junior. Chaliapin grew up in a family that spoke 3 languages.
The third was Pig Latin.
He received an excellent education in Moscow and lived there until 1924, when he emigrated to Paris to be with his father, leaving behind his mother and the rest of the family.
See ya.
Yeah, he was 19. Chaliapin knew some of the greatest composers and conductors of the 20th century, particularly Rachmaninoff, a personal family friend and teacher of his father.
Rock, I'm not really a fan of your music. Anyway, want an apple?
I just love the fact... I realize, obviously, that these geniuses, composers have friends and family and stuff. But I just love the idea of like, yeah, I knew Rachmaninoff,
Brahms was my best friend.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Tired of living in his father's shadow in Paris, Chaliapin struck out on his own, moving to Hollywood to begin his film career.
His father was an extremely large man, and he cast a very big shadow. So he had to leave the entire country to get out from his shadow, because everywhere he went, there he was the shadow.
He first started in silent movies, in which his then heavy accent could not be heard in the small bit parts he played. In his later years, Chaliapin achieved international stardom in more major roles.
Oh, yeah.
Between the stress of wearing cataract contacts, which made Chaliapin's eyes tear continuously, working in cold, damp sets and doing his own fire stunts, Annaud was constantly concerned for his well-being. Chaliapin dismissed Annaud's concerns and performed beyond expectations. I mean, he was old.
Oh, yeah.
He was old. A mix-up in the shooting schedule almost led Fyodor Chaliapin Jr. being killed for real.
Oh, my God. This is insane.
When Annaud arrived on set to begin shooting Jorge de Burgos' death scene, the crew hadn't been told about it. Effects were set up hastily, and some safety precautions were bypassed. You would think that at this point they would probably, shoot it the next day.
You would think.
Yeah. At one point during filming, part of the set's roof gave way, and a large flaming oak beam fell on top of Chaliapin, knocking him to the ground and cutting his head.
Yeah, when we were watching the movie, I was looking for that, but when I remember distinctly when I saw it the first time, I was like, damn, that's a good effect.
Yeah, because he actually got hit for real, and it cut his head, and they used it in the movie.
That's brutal. Did you get it?
Well, that's what afterward, Annaud immediately raced over to make sure Chaliapin was okay. The actor replied,
I'm 81 years old. I'm going to die soon. Is the shot okay?
Yeah, he didn't care.
Well, he knew it would have been amazing if he would have died. During filming, it would have been, a valiant way to go.
Masterstroke?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like, hey, look at that. I'm dead on screen. Yeah.
You killed Chaliapin.
One of his most memorable roles was as the grandfather in Moonstruck in 1987, starring Cher.
Yeah.
The producers, in deciding whether to hire him for the role, sought the advice of Sean Connery, who was reputed to have said,
he's great, but he will steal the show.
And he did.
Yes.
He always did.
And that's why Cher hated him.
In 1982, Chaliapin died of natural causes after an illness in Rome, where he had lived since World War II.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he was 87. He lived for a long time.
We got a lot of guys in there. Connery was in his 80s when he died, too, right?
I think so, yeah.
I just want to say something quick about Michael Lonsdale. Mm-hmm. When we were watching the movie, he looks so much like Peter Dinklage.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So much to the fact that we had to look it up to see if he was related to him.
And then as soon as you think that, he sounds just like him.
It's crazy.
Like it's like your brain's like, no, that's Peter Dinklage.
So Peter Dinklage, you should star in the Michael Lonsdale biopic.
William Hickey was cast as Albertino of Casal.
Albertino of Casal.
Hickey is best known for his Academy Award-nominated role as Don Corrado Prizzi in the John Huston film Prizzi's Honor in 1985.
Hey, Prizzi's Honor.
He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the film, losing to Don Amici for Cocoon.
Ugh,
yeah.
Don Amici.
Do you think that F. Murray Abraham rubbed it in his face?
You know what? What? Look, Hickey. You can be weird as you want, but I won the Academy Award, and guess who didn't? You didn't. You're such a bastard. Why do you always bring that up?
He appeared as Old Man Beckerstead in One Crazy Summer in 1986.
Daddy.
That is such a phenomenal movie. We did a great episode on it. You should totally listen to that One Crazy Summer. It's such a great movie.
He is hilarious. He barely says a word. He's in this wheelchair as this decrepit old man.
He's
and
so great.
Just hilarious.
Steals the show.
Exactly.
Steals the show.
Yes.
Yeah. He appeared as Uncle Lewis in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989.
Clack.
Again, also steals the show. Yes. He's so great. He was the voice of Dr. Finkelstein in Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas in 1993. Hickey started as a child actor and had a very long career.
I want to see him as a child because he looked... The thing is, in this movie, it was hard to recognize him until he spoke because of his shaved head.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Hickey is he has this... Or he had this huge swatch of boyish hair that looked like a 10-year-old boy's hair on an 80-year-old man's body. It was so disconcerting. And I just think that's the hair I had since I was an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah. Yes. But oddly enough, he died from emphysema and bronchitis in 1987 at the age of 69.
Insane.
He didn't even make it to 80.
he looked like he was 80 since he was 40.
That means that in the Christmas Vacation movie, he was 61, meaning that in this movie, he was 58.
58?
58!
I'm not aging very well.
What? That is so bizarre.
Look, people looked older back then. It was all they eat a lot of red meat. It ages you.
I guess.
Cigarettes, scotch, and red meat, baby.
Valentina Vargas was cast as the girl who goes unnamed and has no dialogue, is the only female character in the movie.
Yeah, way to take the extra mile.
Look, honestly, it's very accurate for the time period.
Oh, of course. You could have given her a name, though.
I know. Valentina Vargas replaced Matilda May as the girl. May had to turn down the role because she was on a tight schedule with Life Force, which was released in 1987, in which May played Space Girl.
The space vampire walks around naked
space vampire. Yeah, Matilda May. I just love Life Force. Is one of my favorite guilty pleasures. It's not a good movie.
No, it is literally 80 minutes of just a naked woman walking around destroying everything.
I got to see a screening of Life Force with Toby Hooper there to talk after. And it was incredible.
That would have been fun.
Incredible.
Well, anytime you get to listen to Toby Hooper.
Yeah. Vargas is trilingual, speaking French, English, and Spanish, and allowing her to star in a variety of different films from different countries, which means that most of the movies that she was in, I'd never heard of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she was fearless. It was a very difficult part, and it could have been a very thankless part, but her emotive expressions and her physicality and everything she did was just absolute genius.
I mean, even the scene with her, the Ron Perlman trying to get the chicken, it was brilliant.
She was great, absolutely great.
Ron Perlman was cast as Salvatore, the hunchback. One giant tooth.
He spoke some Spanish too there too, I think.
He did, yeah. Yeah, he did. According to Perlman, when he learned about this film, he contacted Jean-Jacques Annaud because he desperately wanted to play Salvatore.
I must play Salvatore.
Unfortunately, Annaud had already cast a dwarf actor with a giant head and a raspy voice.
I can't compete with that. Have a good shoot.
When the actor died prior to production, the Italian government, which co-financed the movie, insisted that an Italian actor replace him.
I know you want an Italian actor since your dwarf died, but I'm still available.
That actor was then fired for being uncooperative and showing up for work drunk.
Now look, you have a dead dwarf, you have a drunk. I think it's time to bring me on set.
Annaud finally contacted Perlman to offer him the role, which meant he had to catch a plane that same day to arrive on set in time.
Now I know how to do it.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind. I've changed it back. I'll come.
Annaud had purposely not written a lot of the movie's dialogue in order to more easily secure funding, which is such a brilliant move. When they started filming, however, he wanted Perlman to talk in all of his scenes. Since Salvatore was described as a character who speaks
6 languages at once,
among them Latin, Italian, German, English, and French, Perlman got copies of the book in all of those languages. He then composed mixed language sentences by combining words from Salvatore's sentences from each book.
That's pretty incredible.
That is going deep in this. Like, that is work that he didn't have to do, but he did.
Yeah, but
Perlman's good.
Perlman wanted it. Yeah. I mean, look, he doesn't seem like a guy who just takes a role and then saunters in and saunters out.
No.
The reason why he's so amazing is because you know that he really dives deep into the research and into the character.
He's an actor with a capital A.
Yeah, and he's a character actor with a capital C, which is, to me, the best actors of all.
Yeah. Annaud was a big fan of Perlman's, calling him
professional. That is easy to work with.
Having already cast him in Quest for Fire in 1981 and later casting him in Enemy at the Gates in 2001.
Aaron, you want to be in another movie with me?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Seems like he enjoys working with him.
Do I have to be ugly in this one?
Not any more ugly than you already are. You are friends.
Perlman said that for the scene where his character Salvatore spits in William of Baskerville's eye, he was so intimidated by the presence of Sean Connery that he initially mimicked the action of spitting instead.
Patooey.
Connery reportedly commented,
"Dear boy, if you don't put something in my eye, I'll have nothing to react to. Where will that leave me?"
Perlman replied,
Well, out in the cold, Sean.
Exactly.
Connery said. Perlman then did a really good one the second time to avoid having to do it a third time.
Yeah, he did, but they never showed... It was cut so weird because they didn't show him actually spitting. They just showed the reaction of Connery getting it.
Yeah.
So they got it, like...
Yeah.
It must have been in his close-up.
Yeah.
Instead. It was weird because I was looking for that too.
Right.
Because I wanted to see because your tidbits.
Right.
But it just seemed like that was strangely edited. That wasn't put together very well.
Connery agreed that it was a
pretty good spit. You got some.
But that was
chunks
him
in there.
actually getting spit in the face.
Well, it was a Luger.
It was huge.
You went deep into your throat
So
with that
gross. I mean, I recoiled from it. It was so gross.
I feel like I have a clam on my face. Or an oyster.
Perlman can most recently be seen in an episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which you should be watching.
You're pointing at me, and I should. I started it. I forgot about it. I'll get back to it.
It is so good. The monastery was constructed as a replica on a hilltop outside Rome, making it the biggest exterior set built in Europe since Cleopatra in 1963.
Yes, they made it of graham crackers. Be very careful.
You ate a lot of them, didn't you, Sean?
After the wrap, we did. We ate the entire castle.
All of the dialogue had to be redubbed in post-production as the location sound was ruined by aircraft noise.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Umberto Eco's dissatisfaction with the finished movie was reportedly the reason for his reluctance to sell the movie rights to any of his other novels.
Hey, it's a better movie. Yeah. You're ruining my movie. You're ruining my book. You're ruining my book. I ain't never going to sell it no more. Nobody, because you ruined it for everyone. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy.
However, in 2011, he gave a relatively positive review of the movie.
I changed my mind. A book is like a club sandwich with a turkey, a salami, a tomato, a cheese, a lettuce. And the movie is obliged to choose only the lettuce or the cheese, eliminating everything else. The theological side, the political side, it's a nicer movie. It's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
First of all, a club sandwich does not have salami. It is turkey, bacon, tomato, lettuce, and cheese.
You do understand that there are more than one different kinds of club sandwiches. The film was very successful in Germany with a gross of $25 million. However, it did poorly at the box office in the United States, where it played at 176 theaters and grossed $7.2 million.
It's a tough sell.
Again,
Connery,
on paper,
yeah.
Like, how do you describe this movie and make it sound interesting?
Connery wasn't at the top of his fame.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the huge draw. Nobody really knew who Christian Slater was. And it's just a bunch of weirdo-looking old men.
Yeah.
You know, it's how do you... The reason why so many of these movies fail is because the marketing department does not know how to deal with these movies.
Yeah.
You need to bring in somebody who knows, cares about this movie, and can figure out a way to sell it.
Yeah. I know. I agree. At the same time, it was popular in other parts of Europe, including Italy, France, and Spain. The film grossed $77.2 million in a worldwide box office off of a $17.5 million budget.
That's a good, it's good.
Made money. Most of it was international. Which, again, this is more of an international movie. It's not really a good American sell.
No. I mean, no. It's only got 3 or 4 American actors, maybe 5. But it's you know, it's...
But still, though, it's not, I mean...
It's a 14th century monastic murder mystery. It's not an easy sell.
No, it is not.
Not for the dummies, especially during the 80s.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's like that's like the 80s is the apex of our mindless BS. I mean, maybe we're at it now, but
I can see so many people just saying, why would I want to watch that?
Well, I'm going to waste my time.
Yeah.
When I can go see Ghostbusters.
Yeah, for the 4th time.
Exactly.
Roger Ebert gave the film 2.5 stars out of a possible 4, writing,
"What we have here is the setup for a wonderful movie. What we get is a very confused story. It's all inspiration and no discipline."
No,
I
don't
disagree.
I totally disagree. I think that it has a great story to tell, and I think that the fact that this is... The whole thing comes down to a guy who hates comedy is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. Time Out gave the film a positive review.
As intelligent a reductio of Umberto Eco's slyly farrago of whodunit and medieval metaphysics as one could have wished for. The film simply looks good, really succeeds in communicating the sense and spirit of a time when the world was quite literally read like a book.
Yeah. I mean, they actually understood the movie.
Yes, I think they did.
The film was awarded the César Award for Best Foreign Film and won 2 BAFTAs, Sean Connery for Best Actor and Hasso von Hugo for Best Makeup Artist.
Yeah, the makeup was insane.
Oh, incredible, yeah. In spite of the original book's commercial and critical success, writer Umberto Eco was irked by its popularity compared to his other novels, which he regarded as much superior, but never achieved the same level of fame.
I'm irked. I'm so irked. Nobody's paying attention to my other novels, eh? They just don't want this one, huh? It's a bad novel, it's a bad novel.
A few years before his death, Eco called The Name of the Rose his worst novel and claimed,
I hated this book, and I hope you hate it too. I have written 6 novels, and the last 5 are better, but the most famous is always the first one, and it's a stupid book. And you're stupid for liking it, I hate you.
As of 2023, none of Eco's other novels have received a movie adaptation, although The Name of the Rose did get a miniseries adaptation in 2019.
Really?
It was an 8-part miniseries adaptation. It was produced in Italy in 2018 and premiered in Italy on March 4th, 2019, on one of their cable channel or local channels. The series was directed by Giacomo Battiato and stars John Turturro as William of Baskerville, Rupert Everett as Guy, and newcomer Damien Hardung as Adzo.
Was it in English or was it in Italian?
I think it was in English.
Weird.
The series premiered in the UK on BBC 2 on October 11th, 2019. I don't believe it ever got released in the States.
Sounds interesting. John Turturro's great.
It might have been picked up by somebody, but I think because it was aired on the BBC, I think they had the rights to do it in the US.
I don't know, man. I think a miniseries might be a little bit too much.
8 episodes of that might be a little long.
That's a lot of 14th century monks.
Like what? I'm curious to at least see some of the production design and stuff to see what it looks like. But yeah.
Well, this was a very raw production design. It almost had a feel of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail in terms of
that kind of
aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, the production design for this movie was phenomenal.
It was just dirty and gross. I mean, it really made you feel like you were there. It didn't shy away from what it was like to be in the 14th century.
Right.
The stinks and the stanks.
Oh, God, it must have smelled so bad.
And the monks seeing a young boy. Hey, look at the breasts, and they protrude. And he's rubbing his hair.
Yeah.
Can I borrow your boy, Mr. Baskerville?
This is a really great movie. I highly recommend watching it. It is on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the version on Amazon Prime is the edited version without the Christian Slater sex scene because he was 17.
Yeah, which, look, it's not... Now that you know that it's in there, it's not necessary. It's also on Tubi, but the Tubi version is really crap.
Man, it was hard.
Couldn't watch it.
To watch.
Really hard to watch. And so, it's not an easy one to find, but it's definitely worth your while. And I know for a lot of you, this is one that you're like, I don't know. I don't think so.
It was way better than I thought it had any right to be. It was entertaining. It held my interest.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised.
It's a very unique murder mystery, and it's taught and it's told in a very entertaining way for what the subject matter is. And it's also, look, when F. Murray Abraham is Bernardo Gui comes in as the Inquisitor, it's frightening, man.
Yeah,
things that the Catholics did during the Inquisition.
Yeah.
The way that they would torture people and pull them apart. There was a reason why the guy was like, kill me. I don't want to get tortured. Kill me. I'll confess to anything.
The dude with the big belly.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to being burned alive because of what you would do to me.
Literally pretended to be infested with Satan.
Yes.
So that he wouldn't get tortured. Helmut Qualtinger died 10 days after the movie premiered.
Wow.
Yeah. He was only in his 50s. He had liver disease. He was apparently a very bad alcoholic.
A lot of actors, older actors that came of in the 40s and the 50s, they're big drinkers.
Had some issues. Yeah.
Well, it was also just kind of how it was.
You don't go to therapy. You just drink yourself to sleep.
Exactly. You drink away the bads.
But anyway, that's all I got. So I highly recommend finding this movie.
Yeah.
My guess is you could probably go to your library and find a copy on DVD.
There you go.
It's worth watching on Amazon Prime, even with that one scene cut out. It's definitely worth seeing.
It's a very interesting film. It's probably unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And it's definitely unlike anything that Connery's done before.
Yeah.
And he's great in it. Everybody's really great in it. It's got a very interesting aesthetic, got a very fun story. It's really cool to see a young Christian Slater getting his chops on. And
I think that Sean Connery borrowed heavily from this character for Henry Jones in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Julia,
because it was just the way that he was deducing things and stuff. But that's one of my favorite things about this movie. I love it when characters are more progressive and more modern and in a time that they're not supposed to be. Because I really want to believe those people existed.
Well, and the relationship between Sean Connery and Christian Slater's characters is great.
Yeah.
And he's always like, "What do you think about this?" And then Christian Slater's character, Adzo, would be like, "Well, I think you're asking me questions you already know the answer to." He'd be like, "You're pretty smart."
Yeah.
For a sexy young boy.
And when he gets caught in the labyrinth and he does the whole thread thing, Connery's admiration of Adzo is just so great.
Because he picked the right person to be his assistant. He's smart, he's intuitive, he wants to solve the
crime,
the mysteries, and he wants to protect the books. You can tell that from the same order. And man, if you're going to hang out with monks in the 14th century, you want to hang with the Franciscans, because at least they are kind of fun and they can laugh. You want to stay away from the Jesuits, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no laughs there.
Bad news.
And you want to definitely stay away from the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Because they'll stick something in your butt, and it's probably on fire.
All right, well, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week with The Untouchables.
Yes.
So excited to watch this again.
If they put one of yours in the hospital, you put one of theirs in the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
I'm fascinated to talk about it because it's the first one we're going to cover that Sean Connery's not the main character.
Yeah.
And it transitioned in his career. It's so amazing and so brilliant.
Well, he became kind of the elder statesman of Hollywood after that. And it redefined him as this, he had all these mentor roles, after that. Who's the man now?
And honestly, all of these came from The Name of the Rose.
Yeah.
Even though the movie didn't do really well in the U.S., that was the thing that restarted his career because people saw him as an actor again.
In a different way. And very much so. So, find it and watch it. It's just a great movie. It's no caveats needed on how you should watch it. Just watch it and enjoy it, and let us know what you think, because it is kind of a weird one, something that we love. It's not for everybody, but we're really curious to hear from you guys. So
get your butts into there and watch some Name of the Rose.
Where's the boy?
No, for only one person to direct himself.
That'll be to me, eh?
No, that's Italian.
Oh,
He's
is
French.
he? Oh, okay.
That would be me, eh? Oh, yeah. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Good times. Already in progress.